If you have a liquid cooled dirt bike, then one of the best mods you can do to make it run cool is to add a fan kit to the radiators. But it's not the only thing that you can do. If your dirt bike has overheated when you ride tight trails, so it starts smoking or steaming, then you know how frustrating it is to have to stop and wait to let it cool down. Otherwise, you might risk seizing the engine, overheating it, doing some major engine damage. And you definitely don't want that to happen out in the middle of nowhere, because if you don't have the tools to repair it, then you might have a long walk back to your truck. So maybe you've tried using some different coolant, such as engine ice, and while this can be a nice high performance coolant that lowers the temp of the coolant, and the higher boiling point helps resisting overheating, you might still find that your bike still steams when riding tight trails. And while you can spend hundreds of dollars on upgrading the water pump, the impeller, maybe even larger radiators, that really isn't the root problem. You see, a liquid cooled dirt bike, it has radiators to help circle the coolant, the water, through the system, and this cools the engine down. But if there's no airflow going through the radiators, the fins, then they're not cooling down. So even though the circulating water helps a little bit, if they're not getting airflow, the water is just going to keep heating up. If your engine is running, you're trying to ride at a very low speed, like 1 to 2 miles an hour, basically a walking speed. So one of the best things is adding a fan kit if you don't have one already, whether it's on one or both radiators. And what the fan does, it basically just kicks on and sucks air through. Once it gets up to a certain temperature, it brings air in to help rapidly cool down the radiators, and when the radiators are cool, this will help bring the water or coolant temperature down, which will help keep your engine run cooler, so it won't overheat, it won't steam, it won't boil over. But there's an even deeper root problem when it comes to your bike overheating, and that is your clutch and your transmission oil. Why is that? Well, when you're riding really low speed, you're most likely slipping the clutch just to keep the engine going to prevent it from stalling. But when you're slipping the clutch, which it's really hard not to if you're going 1 mile an hour, but when you're slipping the clutch, this heats up the plates, the discs in the engine, and this heats up the oil. And especially in a 4-stroke where the oil circulates throughout the whole engine, that means as the clutch gets hotter, the oil gets hotter, and this oil circulates through the engine, the whole engine is going to get hotter, so it's more likely to overheat, and it also takes longer for it to cool down. This is one of the reasons why 2-stroke is a little less likely to overheat, because the transmission oil is separate from the engine oil, because the engine oil is in the gas. So how do you prevent the clutch and the oil from overheating? Well, you get more efficient with the clutch. And how do you do that? Well, I got a video on that. Check it out here and let me know what you think. This is Kelly Fager from Motocross Hideout. Learn more, ride more, so that you can stay safe, have fun, and not blow up your bike.